Seattle Tempest all but has the top seed in the Northwest Conference locked up, while Los Angeles Astra look to keep their competitive streak going into the offseason. Fans, friends, and family, this is the final day of the 2026 Western Ultimate League regular season. Alongside Tiffany Wallace, I am Jake Balmer, and we are honored to bring today's action to you as we celebrate Pride Night. Tiffany, we've got two talented and competitive teams on the field today. What are you looking forward to seeing?
Hi, Jake. I'm really looking forward to seeing some excellent competition between both of these teams that have something to gain from this game. Seattle is in a top player position with their squad. I think that we're going to see a lot of deep game from this player. Jamie Kennedy, Jamie Kaufman, assist leader. We saw their massive competition and domination against Utah, and I think they're very comfortable in the win. There's a gentle breeze here, and I think that they're going to capitalize on that. On the other hand, the hometown LA Astra is going to continue to dominate on defense. We've seen a lot of that with Hoover and other players who are just continue to get into that deep space, cut under, and prevent those up-head throws in the disc. So I'm really looking forward to both these teams playing competitively with each other and a celebration of pride.
Indeed. We do have Astra coming off a 3-week kind of mini off break here going into the last week of the season. So we talked to Coach Frankie Rowe earlier, and he said, you know, of course, we have that to look at and just look through getting some of that rust. Looking at the full standings right now, we see, again, in that Northern Conference, Seattle with a 5-2 record leading over Colorado. The only way for Seattle to lose that first place position is if Seattle loses this game and Colorado beats Utah by 33 goals or more today in that matchup.
Wow.
That seems unlikely, so we think Seattle's going to pull that out. San Diego and Bay Area both tied at that 6-1 mark at the top of the South. Both of them have locked up their position into the Final Four championship weekend, though they both have matchups today, and that race is very close depending on goal differential. So if both of them win, San Diego would have to win their matchup with Arizona by 4 in order to maintain their advantage due to tiebreakers. So there's a lot of possibilities, but looks like a pretty set championship weekend coming up June 13th and 14th. So a lot to look forward to there.
Yeah, really tight competition that I think Seattle is kind of going to be looking at from the sidelines at these other teams and how they're going to be doing in their standings. As you said, that huge game, that insurmountable climb that Colorado would have to ascend to is pretty amazing. I was watching just on social media, the 37 points was a WUL record score that Seattle Tempest accomplished, and on the Instagram they had 37 points in 37 seconds. So I mean, you can just imagine that just on the receiving end what that might look like, but for them it's just they're very comfortable together and they're able to play in all kinds of weather. So I think we're going to see a lot of excitement today.
So looking at this Seattle roster, you mentioned earlier, Tiffany, that Jamie Kaufman leads the league with 25 assists, also has 17 goals. The league leader has 20, but on this team alone, Jamie Kaufman, Gemma Monk, both have 17 goals, and Meg Manning, number 26 there, has 18 goals. So there is a lot of goal-scoring capability on this Seattle Tempest roster. As we look at Los Angeles's roster, another league leader appears in this game, number 3, Chip Yen, in second place in the standings with 18 goals themselves to go with 11 assists. So A couple really big standout contributors out here. Avalon Agawa, also one of the mainstays for this roster. Nadine Meister, one of the best throwers you'll want to have around. A lot of very capable players on both sides. Really excited to get this game started and see what both teams have to offer.
Yeah, the connection between the Astra has been paused, as you mentioned earlier, because of this 3-week hiatus. However, we see a lot of great connection between Stephanie Pritchard, for example, and Nadine Meister and the handler space. So I'm really looking forward to see the way that they work it down the field and gain those yards and execute their offense.
So the coin flip has concluded. Looks like the Astra will be starting today on defense, pulling the disc from right to left on your screen. Up in the booth, we have the wind kind of in our face, so it feels like on the field they're going to be experiencing a little bit of a right to left wind, so don't be surprised if you see the disc tailing off and finishing on this near sideline on some of the bigger throws today.
Yeah, it's a pretty major crosswind, and from our vantage point in the commentator's booth outside, we're just surrounded by mountains. So it kind of creates a bit of a funnel for trapping that wind here. So you're absolutely right, Jake. That crosswind is something we should expect, and here is the pull from Nadine Meister.
So the fourth and final home game of the regular season here at John Burroughs High School in Burbank, California. We are underway. Jess Spalding, number 1 for Seattle, starts the offense. Ye-Sun Lee finds Drea Baroma into the end zone for Gemma Monk. One of many goals for Monk this season. Definitely bound to see her in the end zone more today. That is a quick score for Seattle on the opening possession.
Clean hold. Again, it's not just a crosswind, it's also going upwind with that pull that Nadine had to overachieve. So we'll see how the Astra use that going in that direction, and if we see a lot of scores just on this side of the field as a pattern.
Yeah, so that short pull allows Seattle to start already across midfield. Quick underneath movement there. Lee is able to find Baroma, and just an instant upline, not an easy throw, finds Monk right there on the sideline. Great touch on that throw.
Great touch, and also not a bad look on defense to try to force it out the back of the end zone. I mean, she almost had to tip that in that corner.
So we get started on this second point here. That looked like Brogan Jones pulling for Seattle. Sabrina Belkin gets play started. The aforementioned Chip Yen and Avalon Agawa, the first 2 cutters with touches on the disc. Belkin doesn't see any openings up top. Horizontal movement, Carly Steiner and Steph Pritchard. Steiner's left alone, a great grab from Hoover, Amy Lee, number 4. Steiner with the around finds Belkin just outside the goal line, and that continues to Chip Yen for the great quick response from Astra. A lot of really good safe throws for the opening point.
And we saw that handler movement back and forth, Jake, from Stephanie Pritchard and Hoover and Meister, and just a few names that are familiar to this team working together. So we'll check that out.
We see that little inside break from Steiner. Great grab from Lee. Finds Steiner back for some quick momentum. Belkin with the continue just outside the end zone, and Yen is there for the finish. The exact kind of movement you want to have in the red zone.
And we're going to continue to see scores, I think, downwind in this corner. We'll see if the Seattle Tempest is able to continue to do that as they start on offense.
Veronica Yee with the pull for Los Angeles. Disc is centered to Jess Spalding. That will happen very often. Spalding, one of the mainstays in the backfield for Seattle. Kaufman to Spalding. Spalding looking deep. And that is caught. Number 24, Cheryl Sue. Seattle wasting 0 time getting their offense moving at lightning speed for another quick goal there.
Clean hold after clean hold, score after score. Is it going to continue to be that type of a matchup? We're going to see how that worked out for them. It almost looked the same kind of movement, those backhands along the away side for Seattle.
So that's just really good, quick, early movement. Gemma Monk again getting that first touch. Kaufman to Spalding, and the great continue upfield to Sue. That's exactly what you want your offense to look like early in a game.
That's right, just break after break and then feeding that continue downfield.
So the flick pull from Hannah Mimak for Seattle adds a little extra roll to it. And offsides is called on the throw. So we will get play started further upfield than Seattle would have liked. Sometimes that flick pull, the timing is a little bit different than the backhand pull, and your teammates don't quite assess the timing there as quickly.
Yeah, that's right. The disc is spinning in a completely different direction too.
So Astra will take over 20 yards upfield. That first throw from Belkin up into the wind is not completed. Hits the turf pretty early. Seattle with their first break attempt is completely denied by Amanda Ring. Seeing that play develop and absolutely shuts it down.
That was an incredible read. We know who's got their library card on the field today. She just came right under and smashed it. And we have a huge throw downfield.
Steiner's huck to Chip Yen, just out of reach. Seattle takes over once again their second opportunity for a break. Patient wrong with the little give-go. Julian Masso. Kat Chung on the far sideline. Good blow-by cut there from Amy Nguyen.
Astra doing a great job on defense, kind of shutting down those unders, forcing Seattle.
A good inside to the around space there. Amy Nguyen's throw catches a little bit of air. Not sure if her intended target was coming back to her. Amanda Ring there tries to take advantage and go quick, but the disc moves much too quickly for Igawa to catch it.
Not a bad place to get a D, and it's a double D for her because she just had the defense or block.
So after a couple pretty clean points, this point we've seen get a little bit sloppy. And Astra's defense Astra's offensive defense able to slow Seattle down just enough to make Seattle call timeout. So the Tempest will reorganize. Both teams will be able to sub players on. The stall count will reset. And while we have a quick moment, just want to let you know that our live stream broadcast today is brought to you by TVX Sports Video. The high-def action wouldn't be possible without the support of TVX. They're available for all your live broadcast needs at tvxvideo.com.
Great call on the timeout. They really needed that. Seattle was getting backed into a corner. I think even though that's a turnover downfield, it's a good turnover to have closer to your end zone after that deep look. So I'm expecting to see that also from Seattle to make those deep throws, but it's also kind of that crosswind is going to take a lot of the breath out of the disc and make it sink.
So Seattle will set their offense, and then Astra will look to set their defense. Coming out of the timeout, generally you want to have a good play call from here on the sideline. Seattle will likely be looking to move it across the field. Cheryl Sue picks up. Astra comes out in a little bit of a zone look. Steiner on the mark. A couple teammates upfield in the way. A great cross-field throw. Catches a little bit of air, but is read perfectly by Gemma Monk. And Seattle is off to the races. Jamie Kaufman looking deep for Jess Spalding. The wind catches that one, and it falls incomplete over Spalding's head.
Great look to have across the field. She was almost all alone, but Amanda, of course, continuing to take up that deep space and force another turn.
Steiner picks up and resets. Belkin, a huge diving grab to save the possession there. Amy Lee, fully outstretched arms above her head to catch that disc. Yen's throw to Lee is just out of reach, resulting in another turnover here. Spalding resets now for Seattle. Ye-Sun Lee finds Sue. Spalding calling for the disc, receives it, looking deep. There's Kaufman into the cross-field space, perfectly thrown, in stride, chest high, for the Seattle goal in the first break of today's game.
So maybe she didn't need another one of those assists. She's already leading assists. She needs another score, and that's exactly what happened with Tempest. They're continuing to be able to work it with each other, and I just see the player on the sideline directing traffic, both of them communicating with each other, pointing to where they want the other players to be, and it was just a great execution by the offense after that interception.
So we see this look from Yen is a good look to Lee. Lee's in a good space there, but it's slightly behind her. And then Spalding calls for the disc and knows where to put it to her league-leading teammate Kaufman, adding to her league-leading score total this year. That now gives Kaufman 43 total scores between goals and assists on the season. Really impressive in just 8 games, averaging over 5 scores per game. Really impressive feat. Astra will look to hope neutralize her just a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting on both sides of the disc, able to utilize that.
Ava Ekberg's throw to Veronica Yee hits her in the arms. Yee makes a good read on it as the defender whiffs on the block. Some confusion on the field. Looks like it might have been a pick call and the throw-in up anyway, resulting in the turnover. At any rate, Seattle gains possession. That throw goes up. Scoring opportunity is completed. Meg Manning brings it down despite the defensive pressure. Great turn of events there for Seattle to capitalize on the turnover for a second break in a row.
And even though LA is down at this time, Seattle able to continue to be challenged in that deep space by Astra players. And at the same time, they're so familiar with each other and know exactly where to put the disc and who to put it to. Let's check this out.
So we see the throw from Ekberg. He probably got a little distracted by the defender. But coming back the other way, Tempest, Brogan-Jones puts a great throw up into the middle of the field, and Manning is able to sky and grab the goal for the Tempest. Big part of being a successful ultimate frisbee team is being able to capitalize on your break opportunities. And that is Seattle's second break point in this first quarter, opening up a 4-1 lead halfway through. An unfortunate drop from Carly Steiner in the backfield. So Seattle again will get possession. That throw is deflected. Amy Lee is in the right spot. Belkin goes deep for Amanda Ring and has a little too much power behind it. Drops harmlessly to the ground. Seattle looks to come back on offense themselves. Kat Chung going deep. Tracked down by Julian Mazzo. Good defensive pressure here from Astra as they try to get the disc back.
Nice switch to stop that around. They're looking upfield.
Masso
Really
throws it into the corner on the sideline. And some great footwork there from Amy Nguyen, and then shows off the footwork in the dance moves to celebrate. Great throw, great spot, great moves.
And even though the Seattle team is running away with this game at the start of our first quarter, they wanted to make sure that we mention that their players are not just the ones that are on the field, that they are beyond the folks who were able to fly out and or drive out to Los Angeles and play these games and play at this game today. So I think that that really shows a lot of team camaraderie and adjustments to this whatever situation is there. And of course, the score is going to reflect that. 5-1 Seattle and Los Angeles, 4:25 in the first quarter with an important timeout.
So Astra takes a timeout right now after giving up 3 breaks in a row. Just a little time to reset. Be reminded that this is a long game. Still only a little over halfway through the first quarter. Plenty of time to put some stuff together. And you want to start that on offense. You want to make sure that your offense is making the right cuts, connecting, hitting in the right spots at the right times. Seattle wants to keep their momentum going. Being on a 3-point break train always feels good.
And it's so interesting to see their coach out there, Ray Yang, talking to the team. Even though they're ahead, just keeping the team focused. They made sure to tell us that, wanted us to give a shout out to the folks who are back home who couldn't make it today. But that is how you get to championship weekend, staying focused no matter what the score is.
Jamie Kaufman's pull to within 20 yards of Astra's end zone. Malia Smith finds some space in the midfield. Nadine Meister always looking to shoot, didn't quite have the option that time. Yee's throw to Emily Ash off the fingertips. Some good movement there from Astra. Something to continue to hang their hat on and continue to find open spaces. Just got to shore it up just a little bit. Same thing now with Seattle. Turnover on a throw there from Antolin, but Malia Smith calls an injury. Looks like she will be substituted off. Number 17, Rach Johnston, comes on in her place. Seattle has the option to sub, but does not need it. A short point thus far. Observers making sure everybody is in the right place, and we can get started once again. Meister will pick up the disc for Los Angeles. Yee's first cut creates some space. Looking backfield, Maddie Shade in power position, able to continue to Yee. Just 2 steps out of the end zone. Good fakes, mover Mark, able to throw the around to Allie Latham. A great flick around throw to Ekberg. Latham clears up line. Shade to Meister, step out, and that is a wide open Rach Johnston. No pick in sight, only goals for Johnston, substituting on and being found in the end zone for Astra.
It looked like the anatomy of a pick. I was waiting for that call from the observer on the sideline, but just a good offense and that handler movement that we were talking about from the Astra, able to just work it from sideline to sideline, using the full field to make sure they ended up with the score.
Yeah, that side-to-side movement you talked about. Astra went from the near sideline all the way almost to the far sideline, hitting the numbers. And you see Ekberg looking for something to develop. Instead, Astra more than willing to come back towards the near sideline, all that does is open up space. The defense cannot commit to covering the entire width of the field. So anytime you're able to move the disc laterally, you're only going to create more holes and lanes to operate in as an offense. And Astra proved that as Johnston found wide open space in the end zone. A clutch substitution there. Seattle will look to respond in kind. Spalding and Sue in the backfield. A lot of two-person game there.
Yeah,
Spalding looking deep. Julian Masso has the disc in her hands, but the pressure from Chip Yen is too much, and the disc is dropped in the back of the end zone. Great pressure from Yen on what could have been a highlight goal for Masso. Instead, gives Los Angeles possession.
And Jake, you know, that's really interesting because I'm wondering if that's what they're going to do, push them out of bounds, make it so that they think the deep is the opportunity for them, and then force it out.
Unfortunately, that throw is forced a little too far downfield as Belkin was looking for Steiner. So Sue regains possession, a very tight throw. Great layout block.
Woo!
Steiner picks up looking deep. Finds Havranek underneath. Astra using the width of the field. Ring to Yen. Back to Havranek. Maya Roma, who got that block. Unable to connect in the end zone there.
Amazing movement from the Astra, just continuing to break marks, break hearts, and move the disc upfield. But an unfortunate turn because of that crosswind that takes the disc and turns it to a blade.
Somebody should put that on a shirt.
Break marks and break hearts.
How great is that?
Good Valentine's Day jersey.
So Spalding resets for Seattle. Doesn't have much, so instead launches it downfield once again. Masso trying to track it down. Carries into the sideline space. Out of bounds, and Belkin will start things up for Astra one more time.
And I'm thinking that this is going to continue, or I wonder if it'll continue, is just pushing the players downfield and forcing them deeper than what they expected.
Belkin's break around throw covers more than half the field, opening things up for Steiner. Steiner makes the move to go deep after having nothing behind her, and finds Amanda Ring in the end zone. What was a punt turned out to be a perfect huck. Instead, Amanda Ring putting her mark on the game for the first time today.
Right now she's on the scoreboard for getting that score, as opposed to those double Ds on the other side of the end zone where she got those interception. Incredible. And Seattle is having to contend with that. We'll see the replay around. All that just really floating high in the air, but everyone just having to really have that presence of mind to bring it down.
That 7-second stall goes by very quickly in the WUL, and so you saw Steiner run out of time looking backwards. Amanda Ring, not one to shy away from an end zone run, makes the cut, and Steiner is able to find her. Great play from Astra there to cut the lead back down to 2, 5-3 Seattle here with 1 minute left in the first quarter. Astra pulled. Just want to remind you that in the Western Ultimate League, when time runs out, play does not stop. Instead, the team that has the disc gets to finish their possession. Astra will look to be that team now as Hanai Oda gets a huge hand block. Meister picks up.
Oh, wow, looking up the sideline.
Ekberg to Shade, one step out of the end zone, has multiple teammates looking and calling. Stall count gets high. Shade tries to find Ekberg in a tight space, but there are two defenders in the way. So Seattle takes over possession. Sounds like there's 30 seconds left. Another huck from them. Jamie Kaufman skies two defenders. Brogan Jones has two receivers of her own downfield. That disc is tracked down. Meg Manning with a huge grab. Kaufman 5 yards outside the end zone. directs a teammate for the score. A chaotic sequence of events there that Seattle is able to stamp with a goal.
I mean, just going from end zone to end zone, the defense was massive, and with this windy game, it's going to be people just really reading the disc and jump balls in the air. We'll take a look at this turnover.
So we see Shade looks for Ekberg on a high stall. It's not there. The huck goes up. Kaufman skies the crowd. Seattle able to get some quick movement. Again, Manning makes a good read on the disc. And then after a couple seconds, a little dish to Kaufman. Kaufman says, somebody go that way. And looks like Siona Antolin obliges for the goal.
One thing I'm noticing also from Seattle is that they have one person who's going in to really sky everyone, and then another person on the outside to sort of pick up the trash and ensure that they maintain that possession. So I think it's a great strategy that's been working for them during this game.
So with less than 10 seconds, Astra will start their position. Again, you'll hear the buzzer go off right there. A great milk job by Chip Yen to gain as many yards as possible. Finds Amanda Ring. So all that can happen now is either an Astra score. Right there is an Astra score. Steph Pritchard to Amanda Ring to end the first quarter and bring this score to 6-4 Seattle.
Calm, patient handling looks like is going to be one of the keys to success for the Astra as they take that double team and punt it down.
So we have seen several late stall count punts that have worked out for both teams. Chip Yen, a great read of that one. And then some really good movement between Pritchard and Ring to find space and close this deficit to 2 heading into the second quarter. So an exciting first quarter of play from Burbank, California, as Seattle takes a 6-4 lead at the end of the first.
It is championship weekend in the Western Ultimate League.
Covered and grabbed. It's Yen. Oh, what a grab! And
Miriam.
oh my God!
Grab from Chung, and as Chip Chang launches to Stetmeyer for a goal. And a blazing
Into the end zone, and it's a layout grab.
Up for Melnick.
Wow! Oh my goodness, Leah. That was a dime ball.
Creatine is only for extreme athletes who eat dominance.
Actually, let's skip that part. Combat Candy is for everyone who trains hard and deserves better than choking down powder. 5 grams of science-backed creatine in a gummy that turns supplement routine into something to look forward to. Just because your workout is serious business doesn't mean your creatine supplement's meant to be. Combat Candy, making strength frickin' delicious. Try it at combatcandies.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to an exciting game of Western Ultimate League Ultimate Frisbee on this, the final day of the regular season for the 2026 season, as teams across the league are getting ready for championship weekend coming up June 13th and 14th. Specifically, this Seattle Tempest team with a 6-4 lead here in Burbank. They want to keep their momentum headed into their semifinal matchup, most likely against the Bay Area Falcons on June 13th. They're doing a good job so far, Tiffany, of making sure their offense is firing and hitting some open spots so far in the first quarter.
I think that this is a really great competition because, especially with Seattle on their track to a championship weekend, they're not just going to give it up, and they're going to have a lot of unexpected plays, and the Astra just have nothing to lose by playing hard and playing together.
The pull play there from Astra, a well-known one for the far handler to clear space and hit that first cutter upfield. Malia Smith has a couple fakes to move her mark, but the mark ends up being too much. Kaufman with the hand block. Also finds the underneath looking deep. That is the start you want as a defense. A momentum shifting hand block. We'll see if they're able to capitalize. Meg Manning looks deep. Kaufman toes the line that she doesn't need to, instead wide. Plenty of space in the end zone for the goal. Kaufman again leads the league in scores, adding to that total a lot today.
I was just going to say they're slicing and dicing, but they're able to just cut through the wind to get to their players downfield. I expected a deep game from this team, and really I don't feel disappointed in that from seeing their players, but I was going to say those fakes were amazing upfield, and then Kaufman just run her like a book and got the hand out there and put the smackdown on that. Was pretty amazing to watch. A great sequence from the Astra as well, looking at their players downfield on that backhand side. So yeah, Kaufman adds to her stats today, just stacking stats.
A formidable force on the field, making her presence known every time she has been on the field today. Another flick pull has the advantage of getting that roll. Gains a lot of yards for Seattle's defense early. Hannah Mimek will definitely continue to do that as the day goes on. Ring finds Lee in the middle of the field. Belkin
Nice.
looking deep, and Chip Yen adds to her own total that is near the top of the league. Not to be outdone. Yen more than happy to match Kaufman 1-for-1 as the day goes on. A fantastic throw from Belkin and a great read and catch from Yen.
So much talent on both teams. Hands outstretched in the air, ready to take that disc in flight from a flotation device. Let's see what we have here.
So Ring finds Lee in the middle. Yen makes an initial underneath cut, but that opens up the deep space for herself, and Belkin steps in and puts a disc perfectly in stride into the end zone. As easy as one would like a goal to be.
You know what it reminds me of, Jake, is like appetizers and an entree, right? Like they just kind of move it up the field, just a little bite, a couple nachos, egg rolls here and there, and then just, you know, a T-bone downfield with that score. What do you think about that analogy, Jake?
Well, now I'm really wishing that dinner would arrive much sooner. I have not had a great steak in a while, and a perfectly done medium rare T-bone would just hit the spot.
Sounds amazing, but looking at the Tempest, looks like they're going to make us eat. Oh!
Gemma Monk with a couple bobbles almost makes a spectacular juggling catch. Frisbee falls to the ground instead. Nadine Meister looks deep right away. Hanai Oda unable to track it down. Seattle will get started near their own goal line instead. Sue, the throw to Heidi is off the mark. And that punt from Astra, net yardage gain. So playing the field position game here proves beneficial. Shade and Ekberg try to create some room. Oda to Meister on the far side. This is some of that horizontal movement that proved very beneficial for the Astra earlier in this game. Oda finding the upfield space, and the continuation to Ash barely past the outstretched full extension layout of Ash. Would have been a spectacular goal. Instead, now they need some spectacular defense.
I saw it. I saw it in my mind, you know, and I think we were on the same wavelength there as well. But Hanai making some incredible cuts there and back as well to shake off her defender. Oh, looks like there's a travel called.
Monk caught it inbounds and then continued out of bounds. There are multiple lines on that side of the field, but you can see the little hash marks that denote the football field. That is the actual sideline. Monk kind of carried herself out into the next line out there. You're not allowed to throw from a position that is not the right position. And her ensuing throw hits the turf for the Astra to start their campaign back the other way. Deflected and still brought down. Ekberg, great concentration. Meister wants Ekberg, but a very helpful defensive poach leaves Rach Johnston wide open deep, but no one on Astra in a position to make that continuation throw. Now Shade has some position. She sends it deep to Johnston. At full speed, Johnston able to run it down for the goal. Fantastic throw from Maddie Shade. Past two defenders into a wide open corner. Astra goal, 7-6 Seattle.
Maddie Shade, like a psychic fortune teller, using her crystal ball, knowing that she's going to be open deep, is poached before because that other team on the Tempest tried to poach under and then comes back out to get the score.
So this initial throw from Shade deflected by the Seattle defender, but Ekberg able to track it down. Meister, it's around there that the defensive help came. So then Meister hits Shade and Johnston is still deep. Sorry, Ekberg finds Shade. Johnston is still deep. Even with the defender there, Shade knew that Johnston could win that foot race into the corner. Johnston proves her right. Impeccable throw.
Yeah, great throw. Great timing. The defender having to look over her shoulder to kind of see if it's up or not, and by that time, it's too late.
All of the above. Anna Petty has the disc on the sideline. A great mark from Igawa, and then a drop in the middle of the field from Manning. We've seen Manning make multiple great catches today. She is one of the league leaders in goals, but an unfortunate drop there, and then Astra returns the favor with a throw that's a little bit out of reach for Yen. So Seattle picks up and looks to move the other way. And the observer rules that out of bounds. Would have been a remarkable catch from Petty. Great concentration to grab the disc, toes barely off the ground before her arms hit, marking her out of bounds.
Tough win for everyone. Lots of turns and the disc just sinking into the field.
Yeah, Steiner's around throw is a little too far and a little too low. Seattle off to the races, and a great catch from Brogan Jones at the front of the end zone for Seattle's very quick fast break response.
That is definitely one thing that they're doing well today, is responding to those opportunities. Everyone's kind of having a hard time in terms of catching the disc. It's really turning sideways and going into the ground, but really able to just capitalize on that with that continue upfield. Ooh, with the pressure.
Some very skinny sideline action from Seattle, teammate to teammate. Seattle is a team that has performed really well this season. 2 losses, 1 at Colorado, only by 1 goal, 1 versus San Diego, a 4-goal deficit there. But otherwise, victories of 9, 27, 11, 9. This is a very formidable Seattle team that is used to putting up some big scoring margins. And Astra are showing once again against some very stiff, very experienced competition that Astra can stay in these games.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, Jake. What did they win against Utah? 22 points, was it?
37-10.
37-10. Yikes. Incredible. I mean, it really shows how well they play together, and in all kinds of different weather, too. Pacific Northwest, that's where I started playing Ultimate, too, the Pacific Northwest.
One of a litany of fantastic Ultimate players and people to come out of the Seattle area.
Ooh,
Yee had some space in the end zone, but the throw is a little behind her, and Kaufman is able to intercept it. Sabina Hartnett has the disc on the sideline. Seattle able to get some lateral movement, open up some space for themselves. A lot of pressure on that throw. Hanai Oda has been a very good mark so far today. LA very content to let Seattle dump it backwards. Great footwork on Seattle catch there from Megan Louie. Moving up the field, another deep catch from Kaufman. Wants her teammate to finish in the end zone. A lot of questions. One of the observers rules her not in the end zone. Drea Baroma did everything she could to sell that, and instead has the patience to wait, and Linnea Sue races to the front, but Hanai Oda, again with her patented fantastic marking ability today, calls the stall, but our observer says there is no stall there. The throw got off, and that will be a goal for Linnea Sue.
So who was marking Jamie Kaufman?
Kaufman was the one who had...
She had the disc, but was it Chip again?
I don't quite remember who was guarding her deep. I know that Kaufman dished it off to Baroma on the end zone line, and that is where Oda put on a fantastic mark. So Kaufman continues to find space deep and capitalizes on it. Doesn't get the goal or the assist there, but impacting the play all over the did get the block. So gets on the score sheet on that point. Has been on the score sheet almost every point she has played today. Brogan Jones with the pull. Astra takes over, down 9-6, just past the midway point of this second quarter. Steph Pritchard, cheeky throw up the sideline to Carly Steiner. No continuation available early. Belkin pushes up. Fantastic touch to get over the defender. Belkin's around flick finds the wide open Pritchard for the goal. Great work from Pritchard getting up the sideline and then finding space all the way across the field. Belkin, perfect touch for the assist.
I wonder if we'll be seeing that formation more often, not just those up the line, like cheeky throws you were talking about. I mean, that was working really well. Then we had kind of, was that a scuba? Kind of throw that we saw, lofty scuba over the head, and then around the field that the defender's like, well, okay, that's not up the line. I'm not going to defend that as hard. But
so we'll see. Yeah, a nice little, still hard. Yeah, maybe it was upside down. I didn't see that in real time, but good eye out of you. And then a great eye from Belkin finding Pritchard wide open across the field.
I think it's because yesterday I was watching the UFA and the Alley Cats and the Chicago Union, and I saw like hammer scuba swings, like a swing scuba, swing hammer across the field. It's like, oh, that was really exciting. So I'm wondering if we'll see a little bit of magic out here, some sort of interesting throws, and looks like we at least got a couple of them today.
One of the best things about throwing a disc is all the ways you can throw a disc. A football really kind of only flies one way. A baseball, you can put some different spin on it, and it moves a little bit in the air, but a disc can be released at so many angles, in so many orientations, at so many different heights that you can do whatever you want. And it is so much fun to do and to watch the flight of a disc.
I love how you put that, Jake. That was amazing. All the orientations of the disc as we celebrate Pride Night here in Burbank, California, watching women and gender expansive ultimate frisbee and the Tempest moving it back and forth, getting high pressured from the LA Astra.
Charlie Eide centers the disc to just Spalding. Good cut underneath from Yesun Lee. Spalding again in the center. There was some contact there. Rach Johnston fell. Spalding unbothered completely by it. Instead, another perfect throw to Kaufman, who shows up some incredibly fancy footwork with the disc. That is not a celebration I have seen before, but I'm starting to be unsurprised by the amazing things Kaufman is able to do on the field.
Right? Why not have frisbee soccer skills and a little bit of hacky sack into that? I hear that's coming back as a game. Let's check this out.
So Spalding, you see Johnston falls down behind the play. Spalding knows Kaufman has all the space in the world, right in the breadbasket. And then a little kick there, a little kick there, and a third one. Definitely has the potential to be one of the best sackers you've seen around.
That's absolutely true, you know, and it's interesting that you mentioned that because it looks like hacky sack's kind of coming back, and maybe we see a little bit. Maybe there's a couple other talents that our frisbee players have. We know many of them are skilled, doctors, attorneys, teachers, people of various professions. So why not add a little hack to the sack, to the mix?
Did you ever spend time with a hacky sack back when you were younger?
Yeah, I did a little bit in Humboldt. I was not that great at it, but, you know, it's one of those things you can play at an office and it'd be a bit safe.
I was terrible. We don't need to go into why. Instead, we will watch this throw from Belkin. Fall just out of reach, a little too far out the back of the end zone. That really looked like it was going to fall into the grasp of Yen, but carries just out the back. A great look. Astra continues to open up the field deep and find space. Seattle, that throw gets away from the intended receiver, but it's saved by Julian Masso. An attempted deep throw is going to have a lot of pressure on it, and a great grab by number 34, Sabina Hartnett, with two defenders in the area. Mazo wastes no time, and that is Carly Steiner declining that deposit attempt. It's Saturday, but that ATM is closed.
Amazing, Jake. Incredible. The Stein decline, yes, downfield. Incredible. Wow, there's the go. Oh, wow. Nice cheeky throws, you were saying.
Belkin, another deep shot to Amanda Ring. Unfortunately, tails off out of bounds. Both teams are really going to have to do something defensively to continue to adjust for this. Obviously, a few of the throws have not been completed, so maybe that's what both teams are going for. But it's important to not be shy. It's important to keep shooting in this case.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, Jake. Like the wind is really affecting both teams. Like just some throws that look easy.
Julian Masso again, not shy to put the disc up. A misread from a couple LA defenders. A good read from the Seattle receiver. Hannah Mimak was the one that chased that one down. Megan Louie, the step out, finds Sabina Hartnett, who made the big catch earlier. That is a great throw from Louie to find her teammate Hartnett in the end zone to push this lead back up to 4 goals. Minute 27 left here in this first half.
So much patience, so much patience. I mean, we see these incredible replays that end in the score, but they don't reflect the amount of touches and turns that got to that point in the first place. Downfield turnover by the field goal that was almost dangerous. I'm glad everybody's safe. And then over there with Carly Steiner, the Steiner decline, as you said. And then we end up with a bunch of handling and an eventual goal.
So here's that last big throw from Mazo. You see a couple LA defenders just don't get a read on it. And then we're going to see Louie get the disc here. A good sliding catch, and then a great pivot, low release, out wide. Hartnett finding good space in the end zone. So minute 27 left here in the first half of a very exciting game. 11-7 Tempest. Maddie Shade gets things started for Los Angeles. A good inside find to Meister, but a timeout from the LA sideline before that throw got off. Observers quick to note when and where these things occurred. And so LA will offensively take their time to get set up and make sure that they capitalize right here before the half.
I did notice that smiling spike from Meister right there, that enthusiasm. I think she was like, I got this. And feeling the fire of the disc and wanting to move it downfield. But coaches know best usually. Like, let's get us set up and everyone in position, so not only can one person make a great catch, but we can make sure that we continue it and it actually ends with the score. Because both these teams have been going back and forth with touches and turns on both sides of the field. So let's see what the Astra come out with on offense after this timeout.
Each team gets 2 timeouts per half. Timeouts do not carry over. You do not get to take them home with you. I don't know what you would do with it if you did take it home. So normally you save your timeouts for when your defense gets a block and you want to get set there. But in this case, with a minute left in the first half, might as well use it and get your offense situated.
Use it or lose it. Use it or lose it. It's there for you. Let's talk about it, chop it up, see what we can do. See a little bit of movement over there with Meister. She's ready.
So Meister will pick up, has Maddie Shade in the backfield with her.
Ooh, vertical stack. Okay, it's been kind of looking a little bit more horizontal on offense, so this is unique on offense.
Brittany Grimshaw ISO'd. Not enough space there for Meister to fit her throwing attempt in. Great read and block from the dump defender of Seattle. So Seattle looks to take down this last minute of play. Jessie Crowley finds Meg Manning here on the sideline. Crowley goes up line. That throw not intended for Crowley. Number 32, Lauren Page, comes down to it instead. Looks like Meister believes she got the stall call off before the throw.
It was a pretty long possession, so that's interesting.
Another call there overturned by the observer. No stall. The disc will start with Lauren Page upfield, and play resumes. Just under 40 seconds left. Again, if the buzzer sounds and time runs out, whoever has possession will be able to complete that possession, or a turnover will end the half. 20 seconds left. Huge block. Great play from Leah Forrester, making her season debut for the Astra. Gets a huge block here before half. Under 10 seconds left. Meister picks up the disc to start. Very opportune defensive play from Forrester. We hear the buzzer, so this point will end either on an Astra goal or an Astra turnover. Seattle cannot score here, so Astra will look to take care of the disc, and unfortunately that throw from the Astra gets swatted down to the ground, and that will bring this first half to a close. It has been an exciting first half to this point. Slowed down a little bit in the second quarter, came out fast. At one point it was 7-6 Seattle. Astra had closed to within 1. Seattle rode a couple breaks here to push the lead back up to 11-7. Tiffany, what's a couple thoughts here before we head off to halftime?
Both these teams are unrelenting. No one's going to just give it up. And we're seeing a lot of turns, and the Tempest able to kind of take advantage of the air and those jump balls. So either just skying everybody in the middle of the pack or being on the outside to pick up on that outside and make sure that they maintain possession. They're doing great putting the disc downfield. However, at the same time, I'm seeing a lot more D's interceptions, like active interceptions on the Astra. So making sure downfield there's an interception or closing in and cutting off that space.
All right, so an exciting first half comes to a close. Seattle Tempest 11, Los Angeles Astra 7. We will see you back here for the exciting second half conclusion. Thank you.
It's a goal!
It is championship weekend in the Western Ultimate League.
Covered and grabbed. It's Yen. Oh, what a grab. And oh my God.
Grab from Chung. Astra's Chip Chang launches to Statmeyer for a goal. And a blazing
Into the end zone, and it's a layout grab.
Up for Melnick.
Wow! Oh my goodness, Leah. That was a dime ball.
Creatine is only for extreme athletes who eat dominance.
Actually, let's skip that part. Combat Candy is for everyone who trains hard and deserves better than choking down powder. 5 grams of science-backed creatine and a gummy that turns supplement routine into something to look forward to. Just because your workout is serious business doesn't mean your creatine supplement has to be. Combat Candy. Making strength frickin' delicious. Try it at combatcandies.com.
Down in the car, one time give it all, bust it open hard, let me see you drop. Get down in the car, one time give it all, bust it open hard, let me see you drop. I fucked up this Russell, baby, we hustle, but then what the oh my. So big we hustle, but then what then? Oh my. What is my guys? Know that they fly, know that they ride or die.
I want you to hold me, ride this with me.
Planning your club season? Come to Ski Town, August 15th and 16th in Salt Lake City. There will be a women's, mixed, and open division. We are now accepting bids, and scan the QR code on the screen or email skitownclassic@gmail.com for more information. We'll see you at Ski Town.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to beautiful Burbank, California, John Burroughs High School for this final regular season matchup of the Western Ultimate League's 2026 season. This is the Seattle Tempest at the Los Angeles Astra. We have had an exciting first half. Seattle taking an 11-7 lead into halftime. Astra not able to complete a possession there at the end of the first half, but they are doing a lot of things well. Tiffany, what have been some things that you have seen from the Astra so far today?
Astra's been doing really well on defense. They've been able to close into those small spaces at the very beginning of the game with Winger, and also downfield, Steiner was able to get the Ds as well. So they've really been able to kind of close in and force a lot of turns. So that's been exciting. At the same time, Seattle has a great deep game. They are able to launch a deep into the wind, crosswind, regardless of that. And some of our very familiar stars like Jamie Kaufman and Drea Baroma, they have been able to continue to do what they've always done together as a team, which is to get those assists and get those scores downfield and really work together as a team.
Yeah, so something that Astra, we talked about quite a bit. Astra has been most successful when they've been able to get the disc moving sideways, a lot of lateral movement to open up some spots for them. The deep game hasn't hit quite as much as they would like. They'll be looking to complete a few more of those throws as the day goes on, but this horizontal movement, like you're seeing right here, is what has really helped Astra get on the scoreboard. But like you said, Seattle's deep game, Seattle doesn't care if they're moving left, right, forwards, backwards. They are looking to huck, and they are completing a lot of those throws. Kaufman is a phenomenal target in the deep space. Spalding has been launching. So Seattle will continue to try to stretch the field. Astra's going to have to look for a way to limit that, though. Limiting a player like Kaufman is pretty difficult. Leads the league in assists, one of the league leaders in goals. One of the reasons you can see she leads in assists, she catches so many discs within 5 to 10 yards of the end zone and then able to just finish from there. So her size and skill able to do a lot for Seattle. Astra's going to have to find a way to overcome that. Astra, not a stranger to these close games, not a stranger to having a deficit like this and bringing it back. Had a 4 or 5 goal deficit in the second half against San Diego in their last home game and got it all the way back to a buzzer-beating situation last time. So Astra has been in this position before. They do want to continue to put up a fight and see what they can do. They are going to need to close some of those gaps on their throws. We've seen them miss a lot of connections by just a couple inches.
Yeah, I mean, I think you make a really great point, Jake, about that. The receivers that Tempest is able to see in the end zone, and also who they're able to see just in those kind of short cuts and making space for each other. But at the same time, the Astra and Chip Yin and Stephanie Pritchard have been great scorers throughout this game and targets across the field. Thinking that LA is going to continue to do what works, and that's something that has worked for them, is to take that break around to the other side of the end zone, and as you mentioned, working horizontally. So I think that they're gonna just have to see what works for them and continue to do what's working as we come out of this halftime after the transcourse of Los Angeles singing "This is our Pride Night in Los Angeles." So we recognize the accomplishments and the background of people who are of our LGBTQIA siblings who have taken us far in this game as players and in our community at large to make this world a better place.
Very well said, Tiffany. Thank you very much for that.
Oh, yeah. We're about to have a great time. We're having a wonderful day. All the colors of the rainbow are represented. I'm so excited to see even more frisbee with you, Jake. I'm seeing Skipper coming on the field, doing just a little bit of directing of traffic as a coach, and Seattle ready to receive on defense.
Astra will start this second half pulling the disc. Carly Steiner has the disc in her hand, and we are underway for the last exciting half of Ultimate for Astra this season. Seattle will look to finish strong as they head into championship weekend here in 2 weeks. Spalding starts with the disc. Drea Baroma on the sideline. Kaufman once again going deep, shows all of the catching range with her long arms. Wide open reception in the end zone for a very quick Seattle goal right out of halftime.
Clean hole downfield, doing what they do. Breaking marks, breaking hearts with that alligator clap catch to the score. Double thumbs up and a high five.
Yeah, Seattle very reminiscent of the first point of the game. Spalding getting something started in the middle of the field early, finds the cutter, and then one quick hit to the sideline, a continuation upfield, and Cheryl Sue with the perfectly placed huck downfield. Seattle taking less than a minute, only a handful of throws to get on the scoreboard once again. Exactly how they started the first half, a mirrored second half there.
I wonder if LA is also considering, you have D lines and offensive lines, mixing those things up just to kind of see how different players can be in a valuable position. So I'm kind of excited to see what changes they're going to make based on the score that we see.
LA over the last couple years has organized themselves kind of as 3 whole separate lines. Even at practices, they practice in those 3 separate lines to develop as much camaraderie and cohesion between those players as possible. Obviously, that adjusts week to week based on who's available and who's performing well. But there is a general rotation on LA of these 3 lines. A great completion from Oda to Maya Roma, who finds perfectly in the back of the end zone Allie Latham. Great offense from Astra in response. Oda to Roma to Latham for the goal.
And she was just so smooth and all alone. It was a great hold by LA. And so I'm kind of excited to see what happened in terms of Seattle. They just did a couple dishes and then off to the races downfield to end with that score with Allie Latham.
Looked like one of those throws kind of got away from Astra a little bit, so the defense will sometimes overreact to a play like that. Oda's throw to Roma did float up a little bit. Looks like that didn't affect the defender that was on Latham, though. So that's just a great job by Latham to take advantage of a lagging defender and find space in the end zone.
But it's interesting that you mentioned that, because what their defense has done is poach under and get that under space, and that has worked for them. But I think this is the second time where they've poached under, and on the far sideline, it's ended with an Astra score.
Well, if Astra can prove that they can continue to connect on those types of throws, then Seattle might want to change something up. To this point, Astra's completion percentage on away throws hasn't been amazing, so I'm sure that was part of what Seattle talked about at halftime, was continue to challenge Astra to do that, and that is a great job by Astra to make that connection and maybe makes Seattle have to make some adjustments. Gemma Monk, her throw is just out of reach of Baroma on the sideline. Carly Steiner picks up. The wind has picked up a little bit, kind of moving more right to left on your screen. A miscommunication there. That was either intended for Igawa or Belkin. Not quite sure. Seattle doesn't care. Very quick conversion to Cheryl Sue into the end zone to take advantage of a backfield turnover from the Astra.
And we see a little bit of a discussion there and kind of them pushing back. Just a good time on a higher part of the field to make that choice, but not so much. And so unfortunate error. But Seattle, great response by them to use that fast break opportunity and placement right in front of the end zone to turn it into a score.
Yeah, whether Igawa maybe started to go upline or her movement backwards, their movement backwards wasn't quite there. Steiner's throw just possibly a miscommunication like we talked about. But a great play by Cheryl Sue to be in the right space to intercept it. And then a little give-go with Ye-Sun Lee to convert quickly and not risk not getting the break there for Seattle. So a 5-goal lead for the Tempest. 10 minutes left in this third quarter. Still plenty of time for Astra to make some moves, but they're going to want to avoid turning the disc over backwards as much as possible. Seattle appears in a little bit of a zone type look. A Mark and a couple other players in that cup. Astra doing a good job doing some inside-outside bouncing. That's the best way to attack a zone. There was a lot of space there, but unfortunately the throw to Ekberg goes off of her fingertips. Brogan Jones finds Mazzo upfield. Mazzo has been looking to shoot as much as possible. What looked like not enough space. Sabina Hartnett says there's plenty of space there for me to hit Kaufman up line. Some good defensive pressure. Hartnett does not care. Another goal for Kaufman. That's at least 5 in today's game for the league's leading assist person and now the league's leading goal scorer.
Just skipping off the field after that, and you could almost predict, I don't know how they were able to make the angle of that cut to close into that open space. It just seemed like they were all alone. It almost looked like it was a pick. Not really, but just how alone they were to be able to get those yards, and then of course Kaufman continuing to be there and end up with the score.
That is one of the more difficult throws to complete. That is one that I tend to advise my players to not attempt, that lateral away shot, because it creates a good angle for the defender to cut it off, especially near the end zone. You would rather be connecting on a pretty vertical throw with your receiver, but when you're as talented a thrower and have that space with a talented receiver, that tends to open up lanes a little bit more than normal. So a great connection there for Seattle. We saw Havranek have a great layout to stop the roll of the pole. After a few throws, Astra turns it over, and now Seattle will look to bounce back, but their turnover of their own. Hannah Mimek trying to hit that inside space, finds a little bit too inside. Amy Lee to Havranek. Belkin winds up, and Yen is there for the score. Belkin has been looking downfield all day. Yen on the receiving end of a lot of them. That is a hat trick for Yen, and a 14-9 lead for Seattle.
I'm kind of wanting to see a little bit of more of that, just attempts at that downfield throw. At the beginning of the game, we saw them, or the Astra, throwing downfield and that being a turn. And it being a turn in a place that's good for them because it's closer to the end zone, but amazing yards. Amy Lee getting that, Sophie in a great place, and that incredible backhand, which Chip is just completely open, but just gaining more yards because the handling has been something that the Tempest has been able to shut down. Give it a go deep. Why not? Why not give it a try? Let's see something exciting.
Two important aspects of that is that Belkin was able to catch the disc in motion, in rhythm. If that disc is behind her, if she has to adjust weird, she doesn't get to have the footwork she wants. So because she caught it in stride, she's able to easily step into her power position and had no hesitation. Yen had the continuation right away. If there's a hesitation from the receiver, then that throws off all of that. But because Belkin was in step, able to continue her momentum with good timing, all of that helps make that a better throw. Seattle has already worked it up into the red zone, and a very quick connection from Kaufman to Sue. We're going to say Kaufman's name every other chance we get because she is on the disc constantly. Sue with their own third goal of the game. Seattle putting up big numbers today, extending their lead to 15-9. Another great offensive point for the Tempest.
I mean, it's amazing to see it, and I think we'll probably see their names a lot in other games too. And it just makes me think also if Seattle is contemplating the kinds of throws that they're going to experience with other teams later on in the season.
So Baroma to lead there. Monk looks off the upfield work. Kaufman just outside the end zone with the very nice barbecue backhand to Sue. Again, another throw I wouldn't always advise. I won't go into my barbecue backhand soliloquy right this moment. But it is a throw a lot of players rely on, and when you're a skilled enough thrower, you complete it. And Kaufman showed that she is plenty skilled in that area.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, that barbecue backhand. We have a lot of food analogies that are connected to Frisbee. Why not, huh? Oh, look, and she goes to ground. Hey, God made dirt, dirt don't hurt. The Astra is willing to do that throughout this game, get to ground to capitalize on the disc or even stop the roll, as Sophie Havranek did.
So Seattle comes out in this zone once again. A couple of the reasons you might come out in zone to create a lot of throws. The more throws that you make the other team attempt, the higher chance there is of creating a turnover, especially with a lot of defensive pressure. But also there's a good chance this is a time-wasting strategy. If Belkin is able to get in power position, she's likely to try another deep throw, which gets Astra a quick goal. But by making sure that Astra is throwing a lot and that they're all small, a lot of time goes off this clock. So maybe Seattle has seen Astra come from behind before and wants to mitigate that as much as possible by not letting them score quickly. Regardless, this has been a long point already with a lot of throws and completions. Astra doing a really good job of being patient as Steiner has the disc 5 yards out. A little stumble there, possibly a high stall. Havranek tries to make the catch, but Kaufman has the block instead.
A timeout, I think, was what I was on my mind. Oh, but the turn is there to have a similar effect.
So now Seattle will just drop back into their person defense. Hard to set up a zone on the fast break. Steiner looking deep, has Yen in the end zone. Defender says not today. Great read by Brogan Jones, making a play. Another deep throw goes up to Kaufman, unable to read it. Disc maybe in the sun, couldn't find it. Igawa with the great read and the great block. Steiner makes a very important bidding save, and then a timeout is called. Maybe they heard you from here, Tiffany. Decided, yep, Tiffany knows what she's talking about. Let's slow it down and reset a little bit.
Definitely. I mean, I could just see the pulsing kind of calves and arms of all the throw backhands and fakes and cutting back and forth. There were so many throws. That offense looked so crisp against the zone defense that Seattle was doing, and we get a brief look at that around through the cup. Oh, incredible, going to dirt, and there's so many throws in between.
Yeah, Kaufman with the good read there. Another throw that just goes off the fingertips.
Very good, Paul.
Steiner looking for Yen, but Jones is able to read that. Mazzo, another huck. I'd be curious to see how many attempts deep Mazzo has made. But again, the sun is up there and shining bright. Igawa had a great read on it. Kaufman couldn't find it. Another quick reminder that in these timeouts, entire lines can be subbed on, and it looks like both teams are taking advantage of that. Astra bringing on a completely new 7 after that long point, taking quite a bit out of them. Again, did a great job being patient through the zone the first time, but maybe some tired legs led to some difficult decisions later on in that point. And now Ava Ekberg will start with the disc. An Iota in the isolation space gets open. Ekberg continues around to shade. Inside backhand finds Meister, continues to Rach Johnston with some contact, and Johnston finds Oda in the front of the end zone. Oda starts that point with an isolation cut, finishes that point with the goal from the assist from Johnston.
Wow, that was incredible. And it really goes to show, even though they subbed that whole line on, the players were still in sync to be able to continue. Even those fresh legs, maybe they just came with that intensity, being rested to work it quickly down the field.
And again, the primary direction Astra was moving was horizontally. Cannot stress enough how useful it is to move the disc side to side and make the defense cover as much of the field as possible. And it wasn't just the disc moving side to side. Oda started that play isolated on the near sideline and then scored the goal on the far sideline. When you make your defender have to work that hard, your job becomes a lot easier. Oda is having a fantastic game today. Some huge marks, some great spacing on offense, and now finally gets rewarded for it in the end zone.
I also want to give a shout out to TVX for that series of replays that we got from them, because it really showed the handler movement, especially on a zone. You often just see the score, and that movement allowed us to see what led to that score, a series of turns, D's, interceptions.
Great catch there from Lee. Continues to Monk. Baroma, another find to Monk in the end zone. Was just going to comment about how Monk's goal scoring had been a little bit limited this game, and she usurps that quickly by finding space. Seattle a couple of times has found some very narrow windows, but has made the throw. An impressive connection there to Monk.
Let's check out that replay.
Starts with a great one-handed grab from Lee. Monk all the way on the sideline, only has a couple feet of space to Baroma, and Baroma says, you know what? I got you one better. Right on the sideline for the goal.
And really, this high-definition action wouldn't even be possible without the support of TVX. They're available for all your broadcast needs at tvxvideo.com. All of the picture-in, picture-out, our sideline activity, those incredible replays. I can't stress enough how happy I am to see that handler replay, because it just doesn't happen enough. You don't see the history of the disc and the anatomy of the score that way.
Always appreciate a production crew that brings the game to you in a way that is fantastic and tells the full story. So as always, thank you to TVX for all of the hard work that the entire crew does. Producer, replay, camera, none of it possible without all of you, so thank you. They got one Steiner in the backfield. Steiner finds Ring with a lot of space on the near side. Pritchard, some great movement upfield to get open in the center of the field. Looks for a continue. Chip Yen on the goal line, straddles it a little bit, so not quite in. Steiner, a perfect leading throw to Yen in the end zone for the goal. Fantastic movement from Astra. Steiner to Yen for the goal.
Astra really closing that gap and that deficit with excellent handling downfield. And I know I mentioned it as an appetizer. This one's a little bit more lengthy in terms of, maybe I call it a 6-inch sub, something like that. A little bit more meat to chew on, because they're getting more distance, not just a few dishes here and there, but a lot more spacing down the field. And it's taking fewer throws to be able to actually make that into a score. We see Agawa, Ringer, Steiner, and eventually Chip getting the score. Great presence of mind there right in front of the end zone.
And Yen is so good at being somebody who, when they have the disc, they get rid of it and then gets it back again. As a defender, it's really difficult to defend somebody who is so willing to give up the disc early and then get it right back. Having that really quick early movement is so critical to an offense, especially when it's in the hands of one of your more trusted athletes, and Yen does a phenomenal job of that, and that's why she's among the league leaders in goals and why she's one of the best players in the game.
That's right. She's just adding to her total right now with that last score. Oh, and then Hanai with an incredible mark. Broken.
Kaufman deep with the alligator arms once again. Seemingly unstoppable today her 6th goal at least. I missed the goal by Seattle earlier, but just a remarkable output from Kaufman today and a phenomenal throw for the catch there.
And we got to mention the head spike Selly, I mean, from number 95. Come on.
We see the power position, slight hesitation from Linnea Sue, but looks like she was just getting her feet under her, knew exactly where she was going to put the disc, placed it on the money, followed by Kaufman's placing of the spike on her forehead in celebration. I'd be excited if I scored 6 goals in a game too.
That's one way to use your mind, right, in order to get the disc, you know, is to do that.
She's out here playing head games. Mind games.
Mind games successfully.
I blew the punchline there, Tiffany.
That was
the punchline.
It was victorious.
Close.
Victorious. It's all right. We're going to count it. We're going to count it. Every
Thanks.
single one counts.
I
Yes.
appreciate your grace. Seattle brings out their zone again. With a little over 3 minutes left, we could see a lot of time come off the clock here, which is definitely in the Tempest favor. Somehow that disc gets caught. There's a foul call, but the throw was completed. So
we're going to have to talk about it.
Looks like they're talking about it. Pritchard called foul, but when the disc is caught after a foul, you play on. Looks like we are not. There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can't get rewarded for fouling someone. So that's all right. Hey, everybody, the call ended
Belkin
as
with
it
a
should.
guts type catch there.
Yeah.
Those are flutter guts going on there. Those are not difficult. Those are not easy to catch. Very difficult to catch. Made it seem like it's the easiest thing she's ever done.
Let's see Amy Lee in the deep space, challenging Kaufman.
Astra doing another thing that's very helpful against the zone, overloading it. They did a good job of having 4 to 5 people around the disc. When you can move the disc quicker in smaller spaces, that is helpful. They got a little bit spaced out now that Seattle has dropped back into their person defense. Havranek, a great around throw to Agawa. Agawa's looking to continue inside, but Havranek bounces it back on the 7 cut. And then a perfect back shoulder throw to Steiner. Steiner's in position and calls the foul. Does look like that Jones made some contact there. Steiner was trying to box out. Possible injury on the play. Looks like a cramp. Steiner's getting help, but you see Havranek throws that back shoulder. That is a great option. Oh, Steiner gets stepped on and then maybe cramps from there. You see she calls the foul as soon as she knows it happens. Jones with the no contest call there. Astra will maintain possession. Steiner will come off the field. Great to see that she's able to walk off under her own power. She will have a substitution come on. Looks like it's Amanda Ring that will pick up the disc and play it from the front of the end zone. Again, great vision there from Havranek. Belkin clears up line. Pritchard just outside the end zone. High stall, finds Havranek. Again, Yen looks off a couple and finds, looks like Belkin in the end zone. Great patience from Astra. 1 to 2 yards out the whole time. Yen looks off a couple options and Belkin finds the spacing for the goal, cutting Seattle's lead to 17-12. Just under 2 minutes left here in the third quarter.
Wow, that was amazing. Amazing offensively and defensively. I mean, they really had them at the end zone for quite some time. I mean, I wonder how many throws. Looks like probably half a dozen throws at least to be able to end with that score. And with an injury also as well. So Seattle's not just going to give this up, but at the same time, neither is the LA Astra. So it doesn't matter how many it takes. Jake, I want to ask you also about something. I saw a couple players in the back of the end zone, the back corner of the end zone. How viable do you think that is as a cut when you're so close to the front?
if you're standing in the back, I'm not sure that cutting is great. It isn't a bad idea when you're in the end zone to be as spaced as possible, and if you know your thrower has a throw that can get it there, you want to try to keep the defense honest and create as much space as possible. It doesn't do a lot of good to have multiple cutters attacking the same underneath space. We saw Havranek on the replay did a great job of clearing up line, and the space she created when she cleared is the exact space that Belkin found to score the goal. So if you're one of the cold cutters, being in a deep corner is always a good idea because the defender has to guard against that, and I'm sure the league knows that players like Steiner have over-the-top throws to get it there. Now Steiner got subbed off, so maybe Seattle was content to let Astra kind of wander around back there. But yeah, you always want to try to create as much space as possible in a tight situation like the end zone. So we have Seattle worked it up past the midfield line, calling a timeout, maybe not seeing the spacing and the looks that they were looking for. Again, plenty of, with a 5-goal lead, about a minute left in this quarter. Timeouts don't go with you, so using 1 per quarter is a pretty normal thing here. So Seattle will look to reset their offense and make something happen here at the end of the 3rd quarter.
Yeah. Normal and wise. I really appreciate your insights with that because it's only viable if the defender is away from the kind of mark or that space of it, and they're going to try to cover as much of that horizontal part of the end zone. But at the same time, I think that Seattle and taking this timeout is a really good idea because you don't want a team to get used to, I don't want to say not playing badly, but playing in a way that's not up to par or in a way that is not to their benefit, especially going into championship weekend where they don't have too many more games before that happens.
Always doing what you can to get prepared for the next thing. Astra's next thing will be the offseason, but they have a lot of positives to take into the offseason as they look to continue to build their organization. And of course, Seattle looks to keep just honing in their deep looks. The throw from Spalding with a lot of people around. Gemma Monk decides, I got this.
Call.
Another stall is called. Rach Johnston on the mark is calling stall. We will see what the observer rules. Spalding, no contest on the stall call, gives it up. So we have seen a couple remarkable marks out here from the Astra today. Johnston celebratory after that, and will look to get the bookend. She set up an underneath cut to go deep. It wasn't there initially. Shade now with the disc in the middle of the field. Hits that inside backhand up to Meister. This could be a huge turn of events for Astra after Seattle thought they had a goal that would have pushed the lead to 6. Now Astra instead can try to cut it down to 4 again. Some good patience at this point. Really strong cutting by Yi. Great 7 cut there to push to the open side and cut back to the break. Meister finds a small window, and Roma continues to none other than Rach Johnston for what we can list as bookends after the stall. Johnston with her 3rd goal of the game. Meister, great small window throw. Roma, great continue. Johnston for the goal.
That was incredible. I mean, and I was thinking to myself, am I greedy for wanting to see Emily Nash go deep and get that score downfield when the Tempest player came under? But hey, they made the smart, poised, visionary choice to handle it.
So yeah, this high stall throw from Spalding is a great read, great catch by Monk. She did her job, but unfortunately for the Tempest, was not thrown in time. Shade gets this throw into the middle and hits Meister. Meister, this window coming up here in a second. Great catch there by Yi. Yi clears, and there's nowhere to throw this disc, but Meister says, what are you talking about? There's plenty of places to throw this disc. And Romana Johnston quickly for the goal. Great work there from the Astra offense. The buzzer sounds, so this will be the last possession of the third quarter. Seattle can only score or turn it over. Astra cannot score. Each of the first 2 quarters has ended with a turnover. Seattle will look to end that trend. Pritchard with a good seal on the mark. Great inside shot there by Siona Antolin. Kaufman looking upfield. There is a pick call. Looks like maybe it was after the catch, so Ring will just catch up the space that she lost. After the 4-second countdown, play resumes. Kaufman finds the up line to Jesse Crowley. Caught just outside the end zone. Kind of a surprising call there. Dumps it to Kaufman, who says, Crowley, you deserve the goal anyway, and accomplishes that to end the third quarter with the emphatic head spike from Crowley. So Seattle does the job, finishes the quarter on a high note, gets that buzzer-beating quote-unquote goal. A lot of patience to make that work. Again, here's Kaufman, catches it off the pick. Crowley looks a little, maybe a couple just short, quick steps that kept her out of the end zone initially. The quick dump to Kaufman, and Kaufman, a nice little high release flick to Crowley, nearly indefensible. So Seattle takes an 18-13 lead here at the end of the third quarter. We will be right back.
Planning your club season? Come to Ski Town, August 15th and 16th in Salt Lake City. There will be a women's, mixed, and open division. We are now accepting bids, and scan the QR code on the screen or email skitownclassic@gmail.com for more information. We'll see you at Ski Town.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the fourth and final quarter of the Los Angeles Astra regular season. We have had a great game to this point. Seattle Tempest carrying an 18-13 lead as they look to continue their momentum into championship weekend. Next weekend, where they will likely face the Bay Area Falcons in the semifinal. That Final Four weekend will also feature the Colorado Alpenglow against the San Diego Super Bloom. Colorado finishing their season today against Utah, San Diego playing Arizona, and Bay Area playing Oregon, as all 8 teams see action on this very exciting final day of the 2026 regular season.
It's really been shaping up to be an exciting season for all of these teams. The Bay Area Falcons have played an exceptional season this year, and as well as Oregon contending with the Seattle Tempest. However, I'm really excited to see the conclusion of this game with the LA Astra starting to close the gap and start this quarter 13-18.
Up here in the booth, can feel the wind a little bit gusty. Not sure if that's exactly what they're experiencing on the field. Steiner gets away with a miscue there. The defender doesn't quite capitalize on an opportunity to swat it down. Another miscommunication in the backfield from Igawa and Steiner, and the disc finds the turf. Maza with a rare backfield look in this game. Megan Louie, her throw is a little bit behind her receiver, Hannah Mimak. Igawa takes off deep. Steiner puts a perfect floater into the end zone. Igawa for the goal. Exactly what Astra needed coming out of the quarter break.
So much excitement from LA coming. They needed that kind of burst of energy downfield, and I've just been looking for more of those hucks. Even just at the start of this quarter, we saw kind of a practice huck throwing from one end zone to the other to give the disc to the Tempest, and after this turnover, able to launch this flick downfield to Avalon Agawa, who just ensures her feet are in the proper place to turn that into a score.
Steiner with one of the most entertaining throws to watch. The backhand fake to 180 spin, giving you momentum into the flick throw. A lot of times throwers will end up putting too much into the throw and the disc blades over, but Steiner, looking like the veteran that she is, disc comes out on a perfect angle and hangs perfectly for Igawa. I would say don't try that at home, but actually I fully endorse that throw. Try it at home as much as you want.
Endorsed by Jake Ballmer. Yeah, that lunge is crucial to ultimates in a backhand or forehand using that knee.
Juggling catch, gains 7 extra yards for Cheryl Sue. Great concentration. And then some give-go motion with Kaufman. Finds instead Baroma on the end zone line. And then Sue completes the play to Ye-Sun Lee. A lot of tight space movement there, but great security from Seattle after the initial bobble. Ye-Sun Lee in the end zone for the goal.
Not a lot of space to work with, and as you said, not the most advised choice. However, it's been working for them this entire game. I'm trying to think back to how many scores we've seen back there from Kaufman or who else at Baroma. Like, so many different players have scored just in that park, so I don't know, it's kind of working for Seattle.
Yeah, again, we talked about being able to get rid of the disc and then get it back as quickly as possible opens up so many opportunities. Baroma looked off the initial cut, finds Sue in the backfield, and again, a very tight space. Meister's there, doesn't think that throw is going to go up. As a defender, you think you're playing that pretty well when the lane is about a foot wide. But confident throwers think they can fit a throw into any space, and Sue proved that she has that capability on that throw.
One thing I think that did work and stopped the goal from happening, or at least delayed it, was that strike mark, starting with that strike. And I think that if we see a little bit more of that, perhaps the Astra will be able to be more powerful defensively, at least in that space.
Another stall is called. The disc will be Seattle's regardless. It just depends whether they agree to the stall and it comes up here, which it looks like it will. The incompletion guaranteed that Seattle was going to gain possession. There have been a lot of both quality marks and quality cutter defense to create so many stall opportunities in this game. A slight miscue in the backfield from Seattle gives Los Angeles the disc again. The throw from Belkin has a little bit too much juice on it, and Ring is unable to reel it in. Great inside throw there from Meg Manning. Centered to Hartnett. Continuations upfield to Monk. Megan Louie on the far side. Monk continues. Looks like Monk had some space in the deep corner. Havranek thwarting that threat. Say that 5 times fast. Amy Lee on the mark. Straight back dump. Louie again. Doesn't look off this throw this time. And that is a huge skying grab for the goal. Tempest take their time and capitalize. Another proposal celebration. Amy Wynn on the recipient end of that. Great offense from Seattle. Great goal from Wynn.
We're still early, not well, early in this quarter, I should say. A little less than 9 minutes left. And if I'm the Astra, I'm thinking, how can we punch this in as much as possible and try different things too, try different looks as well.
That negative reset backwards, always a little tricky, but Louis ends up in a good spot, and after looking off a deep throw earlier, or an away shot, that, again, small window, away throw, still the precision is there, and the success on the throw and the proposal. You love to see it.
I think she said I do to the score. Committed to the goal.
When your teammate throws that good of an assist to you, you should definitely accept any proposal henceforth. Forthwith?
Forthwith? Henceforth?
I
think that.
I was not an English major. I just read a lot of books.
I think that it counts. We're going to count it again. Oh, my.
Fantastic layout block from Siona Antolin. Seattle showing that they are not content with this 6-goal lead. Impressive defensive pressure. Antolin with a huge hip-high layout block. Highlight defensive play of this game so far. Shirley thought that was a catch. Antolin had completely other ideas.
That was a massive layout D, especially in the end zone, and it seemed like it was all but forgotten, but of course not. Seattle make you pay.
Crowley to Antolin on the sideline. Some good marking there again from Yee, but the up line goes off. Astra wants to keep these marks solid to make sure that Seattle keeps going backwards. And there's enough pressure there to force a bad throw from Mimak. And Astra will take over once again. So as spectacular as the layout block was, for the moment, it goes for naught.
Let's see if it happens again. It could, we could just make it exciting. We're gonna wish for something exciting.
I mean, anybody with the potential to do that once has the potential to do it twice.
That's right. Oh, incredible handling downfield. Meister's with the disc. She wants to shoot it, but who's cutting deep for her?
Nobody set up a good deep cut early. Latham and Roma are both great deep options. We'll look to see them time something that gets them underneath 2 and away. Oda was wishing that Latham would have been going deep there, but the timing was just a little bit off. Meister doesn't have a ton of options upfield, resets to Maddie Shade. Ekberg will look to send it deep. There it goes. The wind up to Oda. There's some contact and Oda brushes it off for the goal. Didn't have a deep option when she had the disc, creates a deep option for herself, fights through the contact, an amazing catch, great setup.
That was incredible. I mean, just, you could see the gear spinning. She wanted that disc deep to throw it. She's like, I think I'm supposed to be the one that scores it.
This is the catch. We see Oda, somebody go deep, let's go. You know what? I will go deep instead against a taller defender.
Two tall defenders. Absolutely not.
And Oda says, this is my time. Oda having a fantastic day. That is a hat trick of goals for Hanai, showing out on both sides of the disc.
Love seeing this game. Love seeing the intensity from both of these teams. Just not willing to give up the easy, not even goal, possession.
We see the huddle there from that line, talking to Coach Andrew McCrae, talking about what could have gone better. Definitely not giving any pointers to Oda about how to catch a disc in the end zone. Nothing could have gone better there. But like you said, we love the intensity. Astra not content to just let these last 6 minutes go by and whatever. They want to keep pushing. They want to keep improving to set a standard for what the offseason and what next year can look like.
Great switches also on D. Oh my, and she goes to ground, comes up with the disc.
Gemma Monk, great layout there. Good job conserving her greatness and dumping the disc. Very easy for players to make high adrenaline plays like that and then instantly look for something else spectacular. And we get that conservation of greatness phrasing, but Monk more than happy to dump it back to Kaufman. And Kaufman completes the give-go. Finds space in the front of the end zone once again for lucky number 7 goal to my count. Felt like it'd been a while since I said Kaufman's name in relation to an end zone movement, and she was not going to let that stand.
Only a third of the goals of her team. That's it. That's all. 7 goal, incredible. She's having a phenomenal game. And we're noticing just that strategy from Seattle to take the disc, dump it back, and then launch it forward, up line, score.
This has to be almost a half dozen throws from Sue that there has been no window on the sideline to hit, and Sue has just created a doorway out of nothing to complete a pass. So I am really impressed with Cheryl Sue's confidence and her ability to hit those small margins today. So with under 6 minutes left here in the fourth quarter, Astra will look to continue the momentum. That same line that was out there that just scored with Oda and Meister and Ekberg, Etial, back out there again. A lot of these players on the team for the first time are not having seen a ton of action over the last couple years, giving them the opportunity to do that this game. Roma to Oda, center of the field, red zone, 10 yards out. A terrific throw. Meister to Shade in the front end zone. Great patient movement there from the Astra, looking as confident as a team can. Down by 5, doesn't matter, keeps the pressure on. Great execution there.
And there's Oda really making a lot of great decisions too. Oh, Oda with the score.
Oda, sorry, I thought she had dumped it to Meister on the blow-by, but Oda instead, high stall count, finds the space. Again, a difficult lateral away throw, but Shade had created enough space and Oda stepped out enough to open up that angle wide enough to make it an easy throw.
I think actually Meister threw it to Oda with the hockey assist, you know. I mean, quite frankly, she's been in almost every play. Meister's been playing incredibly today. She has a lot of good patience and good decision making, and she catches the disc if it's anywhere near her vicinity. So it's, you know, I think it's a good guess. If it's the Astra, Meister's gonna catch it.
We love the in-house DJ playing some Justin Bieber Never Say Never to prompt Astra. The game's not over. Game's not over till some person says it's over, a buzzer sounds. So, case in point, turnover, quick turnover there from Seattle. Time is the thing that is not on LA's side right now, but Belkin has looked deep quite often. Havranek cutting across the center of the field makes a great catch. Doesn't see the poach defender there, and that's a great read from Linnea Sue to get that block. Sue's throw opens up Kaufman into space. Kaufman steps out, but the mark from Steiner stifles any upfield look there.
I'm really liking a lot of these straight up marks that I'm seeing from the Astra as well. They're making it super hard up, and it's OB.
Yes, that throw to Cedra Pearson just wide, unable to toe the line of cones that are there. So Belkin will pick up again, try to make something happen early. Steiner goes for the catch. Kaufman is there for the block. Kaufman called for a foul by Steiner. Steiner had a beat on it. Looks like she's saying that she had the positioning and that Kaufman had to go through her arm in order to make the play. I'm inclined to agree. Looked like Kaufman wasn't quite in the right spot to be able to go above it. The call goes to the observer. The observer agrees that it was a foul call. So Steiner, here's the replay. You see Steiner's in position. Kaufman has to come across Steiner's body. Looks like she had to come through the shoulder a little bit. Didn't allow Steiner the full verticality that she is entitled to. So play resumes. Chip Yen and Amy Lee moving the disc to the sideline for Astra. Belkin looks for a continue. Steiner wins the upfield space against Kaufman. Lee, not enough space on the cone to entice Steiner there. Belkin swings it to Yen instead. Kaufman is able to get into the space that time. Looked like there was space, but the wingspan of Kaufman overcomes the space that was there to Steiner. That's got to be Kaufman's at least third block of the game to go with their 7 goals and multiple assists. This has been an all-around dominant performance from number 95, Jamie Kaufman. Havranek reads that disc, able to get the block. A 2-minute point so far is not what Astra had in mind, and they will call timeout to get some fresh legs on the field and try to get a quick score here. Steiner and Kaufman have some good sportsmanship, good talk as they go their separate ways.
Yeah, I think that was I really like that exchange between those two players, because Kaufman is going to play hard. That's the kind of player that she is. So we're going to see a lot of that from them. But at the same time, that D, the block catch, hand block catch, incredible. So it really just shows that athleticism.
So we're going to get a look at some of our nominees for the TVX play of the game here. We have one. The juggle
triple kick spike
has no effect on the game itself other than to show how talented Kaufman is with her hand-eye, foot-eye coordination. We have this sequence, Oda to Roma to Latham, that is reminiscent of a great continuation that you would see in baseball, hitting the cutoff man. The juggling catch from Sue. A lot of concentration and coordination there. And then we did know that in that sequence, Baroma dumped it to Sue and she continued upfield. So a couple unconventional plays of the game, some juggling with the feet and with the hands. You love to see it. We are back underway with some fresh legs. Astra has the disc. Shade winds up, looks for Oda deep, perfectly in stride, 1 yard outside the end zone. Oda looks for some help, looks upfield for Emily Ash, and that is inbounds. A fantastic concentration catch from Ash. Toes the line after Oda's phenomenal deep cut. Astra, great timeout, perfect execution, and some fancy footwork for the cherry on top.
Feels like we have another contender for our play of the game.
I should
that
say
sequence
so.
of the game that just happened. I mean, we have Veronica Yee also with that catch on the far sideline to maintain possession. And let's check that out. That around.
Shade winds up. Oda chases it down.
So patient.
Another probable high stall decision. And Ash, the left toe, gonna assume she did not trim her nails this morning to help out, keeping that in bounds. That's actually such a difficult disc to read that is going directly over your head, tailing away from you, catching the trail edge and the presence of mind to keep your toe down. Fantastic play from Emily Ash there.
Yeah, I think that's a great point too. Oh, wow, hammer, first one we see this game.
Yeah, Astra comes out in a zone and Jess Spalding says, I know exactly how to beat that. A hammer into wide open space, and Gemma Monk gets the goal to cap off that very quick point. A hat trick for her. Astra throwing the zone out there to try to create a turnover, and Spalding just says, there's plenty of room out there for me to put a disc.
Sure, why didn't we think of this hammer before? I mean, it just completely cut open the D right over the mark to Kaufman, a worthy target. Shake and bake downfield.
Kaufman just continuing to put slash marks in the scorebook today. We did call for some fun over-the-top throws, and we were not left disappointed. It took until under 2 minutes left in the game, but Jess Spalding obliges. So Tiffany will send a thank you card to her later on.
Yes, yes, absolutely. You're going to get something in the mail. Blow some kisses your way to show a little love to both of our teams who are playing phenomenally today. It's been exciting in ways I didn't expect. Lots of turns and recoveries.
Less than 90 seconds here in the regular season finale between the Astra and Seattle Tempest. It has been a phenomenal season. If you have been unable to tune in at this point, every game is free and still available to watch on YouTube. Amanda Ring says you should go back and watch this throw again on YouTube. Perfect throw to Steph Pritchard in the end zone for the goal.
And let's just take a moment also after that incredible score to recognize and thank our Astra lifetime members, the Rowe family, Juniper, Lamplight, Margot, and Bacon LV. You too can become a lifetime member on our website. Thank you so much for all the support of our lifetime members and all the supporters of Women and Gender Expansive Ultimate today. Let's look at this replay.
Love that Ring. Her initial look is to continue the momentum of the disc, bringing her defender with her, which opens up the backhand look. Pritchard, head on a swivel, sees Ring step over, goes into that open side space for the easy pitch and catch. Love to see connections like that from two very skilled veterans. So again, in this last minute of play, we thank you for watching all season, all 8 games that Astra has had, all 8 games that Tempest have had, and all the other teams in this league. So many talented athletes on display for you to watch for free on the Western Ultimate League YouTube channel. Be sure to tune in to Championship Weekend, June 13th and 14th. That will feature these Seattle Tempest, with hopefully a lot of throws like that. What a hammer, Cheryl Sue. What can't you do? Are you kidding me? There are 30 seconds left in this game, and we are still having excitement like this. Tiffany, what?
Just throw it on the line. Cheryl Sue, Cheryl Sue, Cheryl Sue, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when she throws to you? You gotta catch it in the end zone is what you gotta do. That's what has to happen, and that's what we saw. Sitting catch. Let's look at this massive yardage of a hammer here.
I did not have 40-yard hammer with under 30 seconds on my bingo card today. Silly me. What was I thinking when I woke up this morning?
I think, you know, there's been a lot of manifestation that's been happening, and I think that we wanted it, we called it, and now it's happening. Seattle's having fun with it, and also LA is continuing to play hard defense, and so they're just saying, you know what, let's just throw a couple hammers. You never know when you might need that in your back pocket, and clearly it works for them. Less than 30 seconds left in this game.
Probably the last poll. We also want to make sure we thank our observers today, Brian Bradburn, Cynthia Love, and Josie Ma, for all of the work they have done today and all season. The game would not be possible without our observers. The game would also not be possible without Astra ownership. Fantastic work and game prep all year. General manager Buster, phenomenal work this season. Sonia, great job out of you. Every single player that has stepped foot on this field this year for the Astra. We are proud of you here on this Pride Night and for everything you have done all season. It is not easy to be in this sport. And we see the final throw of the season get swatted down. Would have been a highlight intended for none other than Chip Yen. Great block from Seattle to end the game. But once again, thank you for tuning in to this exciting game. Tiffany, a 23-18 Seattle win. What do you think?
Lots of pride on both sides from these teams. And Seattle, of course, coming in with the power player and contender in this game. But at the same time, the Astra putting up a lot of strength on their defense, making adjustments on offense as well with their deep game, and slicing and dicing as handlers to advance down the field. So I'm very excited and happy to be able to spend this time with you, Jake Bomber, enjoying some more Ultimate under the blue skies of Burbank, California, and see some incredible women and gender expansive Ultimate Frisbee.
Tiffany, it has been an honor and a pleasure once again to all of you tuning in. Thank you so much for your support all season. We appreciate everything you have done for us. Once again, the entire TVX production crew, thank you for everything you have done all season. Make sure to tune in Championship Weekend, June 13th and 14th. But for the last time, signing off on behalf of Tiffany Wallace, I am Jake Bomber. Have a great Saturday. Happy Pride.